Hey guys, it's David here, and it's currently day 283. I hope you guys had a good day and are doing better than yesterday. Time is currently 5:35. So, woke up this morning a little bit tired, and that is only because I had an amazing dream and I did want to keep on sleeping. But I have to get up today because I have things to do, I have goals to achieve, and more importantly, I have a life to live. And I'm not saying that we don't have life to live and that you don't have a life to live, which is why you're sleeping and you don't want to get up. But sometimes you have to have that deeper reason within you, that purpose, that meaning beyond yourself to do the hard things, to get past the momentary pleasures of satisfaction. So find that if you haven't, because that is the only way in life that you're ever going to get past complacency. That is the only way in life that you're going to get past prioritizing your pleasures. So I'm gonna get up now and get cleaned up. Although I haven't exactly internalized the topic I want to talk about today, I think what I do want to say is why fatigue does cloud our purpose, why fatigue stops us from being disciplined. Because I failed to mention this topic yesterday, as I did got a little bit sidetracked. So let's get myself cleaned up. I'm gonna go to the gym, and when I come back, I'll see you guys in a bit.
So guys, it is currently 9:28. Just came back from an amazing workout, and I do truly mean it's amazing because for the past 2 days my workouts haven't been the most superb, but today I definitely felt that my efforts have not gone to waste, and that I am glad that I stick through the doubt and uncertainty that was built up 2 days prior. Because if I quit earlier, if I said, you know what, maybe I'm just too fatigued that I need to take a week off, then I wouldn't have had this amazing work. And if I did take the week off, then it will be a miscalculation on my part. So this just goes to show, guys, and this is just living proof that it's super important to have data to back up your actions, to have data to back up the choices you make, because eventually data is fixed, data is facts, right? Data drive us to make the best decisions possible. Because a lot of the times our emotions will be great one day and then we'll be depressed the other day. And if we're guided by our emotions, then we're bound to make many irrational decisions that we are going to repent later on in our life. But talking about fatigue and the excess fatigue I had built up 2 days prior, I do want to talk about why is that we actually don't have a discipline problem. Rather, a lot of us just have a lot of fatigue, especially mental fatigue build up, which stops us from being disciplined, which therefore makes us think we don't have the abilities, the necessary skills to build discipline, when simply that isn't true. Now, the reason I want to touch on this topic is because lately I have started my job. It is a very sensitive job, meaning that I don't have to do a lot of things, right? Cut some meat, work at a deli, and serve customers, wash some dishes every now and then. It is really not a lot of heavy work. However, what I did notice is that even though it's not a very mentally loading work, I still am mentally drained by being there. Because first of all, I am a little bit socially awkward. Social skills isn't the best I have in my arsenal, so therefore I have to use a lot of mentally energy to really put myself out there and to learn this skill that I was not really great at before. So doing so requires a lot of mental energy. And a lot of the times when I come back from work, or say almost every time I come back from work, I have realized that my willpower is non existent. What do I mean? Normally, I don't eat any of my carbohydrates until the nighttime so that I could stay focused. But every single time, ever since I started work, me coming back, I'll just shove my face with all the carbs I can have during the day. What does this mean? It means that my willpower is non existent. My willpower, perhaps, is mostly used in my workplace for me to be out of my comfort zone, for me to crawl out of my shell and to socialize with my colleagues. So doing so is very mentally draining, and doing so requires a lot of willpower. And that drains any excess will we have left to tackle any other things we have to do in our life. Therefore, a lot of the times when you come back from work, or a lot of the times when you just have like a very bad morning, or you perhaps met some total dickhead on the street that just totally messed with your mentality. And then you may come back from work, you may come back from a long, grueling day, and you want to perhaps start on the project, or you want to perhaps self improve, or perhaps you just want to read a goddamn book to learn a little bit more about life. But you quickly find yourself gravitating to the easier route with less resistance, something that doesn't require any more willpower to be used, but rather it shuts your brain off and you go into zombie mode, meaning you pick up the remote, you open TikTok, and you just scroll, right? That is perhaps the most easiest thing we can do, and it's easy because we don't have to use our brain, and it is a constant dopamine hit of pleasure. So a lot of us gravitate to these non-disciplinary distractions simply because we don't have any willpower left because of the mental fatigue we have built up throughout the day. Now, I'm not saying that we should use that as an excuse to not start what we want to be starting. I'm not saying we should use our work, our spouse, or our colleagues or friends, or just a bad day, a bad weather for the excuse of our procrastination. What I am saying though is that we should be aware that we are not incompetent to build willpower, that we are not incompetent to be special. Rather, a lot of the times when we don't feel like we have any mental discipline to do something, is simply because we had used it throughout the mornings of our day, or we had used it throughout the day. Therefore, we have little left to push on with the next task. So having this realization or this discernment in the back of your head will reinforce the idea that you can become different, that you can definitely change if you wanted to. And sometimes for you to change more easily, for you to be more disciplined and have more willpower to do the things you want to do or to change your lifestyle, then that means not to beat yourself down, not to say that you are not worthy of change, but rather reevaluate exactly where and when in your life throughout the days are you using the most willpower. And perhaps you should ask yourself, maybe during those days that requires the most willpower, somehow I could maybe use less willpower. So instead of using so much mental energy to focus on your work, to focus on your spouse, to focus on your friends, maybe just dial it down a bit. I'm not saying neglect them, but rather just save some energy left because you know that you have something more bigger to do throughout the day. And it is really about dissipating all the energy evenly throughout the day so that you have just a little bit more to do that thing you have been putting off for a long time. But we are at this case now where you may say that, well, look, I just have to focus on my work. I have to focus on my spouse, and I have to work a 12-hour shift full time, 7 days a week, even though that may not be realistic. But let's just say you do and you have no energy to do what you want to do. Then what do you do then? Then what do you do then? How do you build willpower? How do you build discipline when I have used all my energy throughout the day? Well, this is what I can say, and this is what I can suggest if that day does come to you. And my advice when you feel like you are absolutely dragged down to the last bit of your existence, then keep doing it. And I know this sounds perhaps stupid, like, well, how do I keep doing it if I have no energy left to do it? Well, do exactly like you do if you would pick up your remote. Do it exactly like you would do if you're scrolling on TikTok. And I'm saying going into this next thing, going into this thing that you have been putting off mindlessly. Yes, mindlessly. Although I have been preaching to be present, to be conscious throughout this journey of mine, sometimes to do the things you don't want to do is to actually be subconsciously doing it. Is to not focus so much on the pain, on I don't want to do this because of the pain. I don't want to cope because of the pain of rejection. So instead of being so present and thinking about the pain I'll get from doing this thing I don't want to do, go into it subconsciously. Go into it unconsciously. right? Open your laptop and just open your laptop and just think you're not going to do anything and just do the thing you have been procrastinating. If you are writing a blog, just start writing. Even though you may not be perfect, just keep on writing. Because getting it done is better than perfect. So you don't have to know exactly everything you're doing. You don't have to be the best. You don't have to present yourself to be the best. And you don't have to even know what the heck you're talking about. Clearly, I am a proof of that also. But just get it done and you will build that mental discipline. Just get it done and you are going to stress your mental muscles. And doing so will create more mental willpower tomorrow. Doing so will stretch and fill your mind with more of that goodness of discipline when that time needs you to be disciplined. So yes, you don't have to be perfect. And yes, you may be tired, but it's not tired for you to pick up the phone, is it? It's not tired for you to pick up the remote and play some games or watch Netflix, is it? And you don't question really why do I have energy to do those things, but not the thing I want to do, not the thing I've been putting off. And that is simply because you don't have to use your brain to do those things. You're not staying present thinking about, okay, I'm gonna watch this show on Netflix and I'm being present describing and transcribing everything I'm watching. No, you're not doing that. You're simply just watching the show and you're letting your mind shut off. And you can exactly do the same thing on the things you have been procrastinating. And by doing so means just get it done. You don't have to be good. You don't have to set any expectation for yourself. Rather, just get it done. Even though you're writing one word, even though you're just calling one person, just get it done. By doing so, you are bound to create more muscles in your mind so that the next day or the next week, when you are required to get better than yesterday, you will have that excess willpower, just a little bit more of discipline for you to push beyond what you were capable of yesterday. And by doing so, you are going to have more brain cells than the day before. And that is going to create more discipline for yourself. But always, just understand that if you are fatigued, from work, from your family, from your spouse, from your friends, or from the world, just know that fatigue is inevitable. Everybody experiences fatigue. Everybody experiences overtraining, and everybody for sure experiences burnout. But if you can manage your fatigue wisely and grasp your mornings and take hold of them, then you should use the times when you have the most energy to do the things that is the hardest. And by doing so, you have instantly have just won your day. And being said, I am going to head into my first work block, as although I have wasted a lot of excess energy throughout my training, I know that I definitely have much more left to get a shit ton of work done before my afternoon slash evening shift. So that being said, I hope you guys are doing well, and just remember to always keep your fatigue at bay. You don't want too much of that shit, because if you do, you're going to feel like a rundown dog, and that isn't and never will be a pleasant feeling for anyone. I'll see you guys in a bit. So guys, it is currently 7:40 p.m. and I bitched it. All right? I totally bitched it today at work. Now, what do I mean and what exactly did I bitch out? Well, quick backstory. On Tuesday, I was supposed to be the one responsible for roasting the chickens, and at work we're supposed to check the temperature after we take out the oven. However, I forgot. And this is a very, very big mistake. And although the person next to me who was assisting me with the chickens said that the temperature check was done, but deep down I knew I didn't check the temperature and I was told to do it. And because I know I didn't do it, I was supposed to go to my manager because I want to apologize for the mistake I had made so that I get rid of this defensiveness that will be seething around me. I wanted to apologize empathetically and sincerely. Right? That is something I learned through How to Win Friends and Influence People. Like when you're wrong, you should be the first one to criticize yourself. You should be the first one to own up to your mistakes. And I was eager. I was rehearsing exactly what I want to say to my manager and how I'm gonna come off as sincere and how I'm gonna hold the conversation and just just say I'm useless pretty much. But what happened? I walk into work today, and then I let my fear of, oh, what if they think I am weird for doing this, or what if they think I'm totally abnormal for doing this, or most importantly, I care too much with how they may view me as, or how they may judge me. So I didn't do it. I didn't do it, and deep down inside, I just didn't know how to then do it again if I didn't first initially do it when I went into work. And then all these thoughts were coming to my mind that, should I probably apologize now? I mean, it's like 2 hours in the shift. Maybe it's too late to apologize now. Like if I apologize now, they may think that I am holding this in for the whole time to avoid the question, to avoid being apologetic. So I didn't do it. At the end of the day, I didn't say what I was going to do. Now, I am admitting this simply because I have to be frank with you guys. Social skills isn't one of my strong suits. I am still very, very invested in the perception of others that they have on me rather than my perception of what I have on myself. In other words, I care still to the degree of what others think of me, instead of believing in who I am, in believing in what my actions mean to me. Rather, I am always still focusing on what my action may be perceived as. So yes, today I bitched it. Today I bitched it, and it's not a great feeling, guys. It's not a great feeling simply because I know it's the right thing to say. I know it's the right thing to say, but I didn't do it simply because I allowed my emotions to get in the way. I just care too much. But that's okay, guys. That's okay, not because I'm going to make this mistake again. That's okay, not because today I didn't follow through with my word. But it's okay because I'll keep on trying. I'll keep on trying until one day I just say, you know what, screw it. I'm not going to care. I'm not going to care, and I'm going to say and do what I said I was going to do. Although I may not make another big ass mistake like Tuesday. However, I know in the future I'll definitely make mistakes, especially in a workplace where I'm still unfamiliar with. I'm going to make plenty of mistakes. So I do have plenty of opportunities to redeem myself, to really follow through with my word and just care a little bit less about how others think of us. Now, I wanted to say this, and the reason for me to tell you guys this story is simply because we have to admit that we all have weaknesses. And my weaknesses certainly is much. I have many flaws that perhaps a lot of them I am still unaware of because I have made myself oblivious to those flaws. And a lot of the times we try to mask our flaws. We try to hide our inferiorities simply because we don't want to face it head on and change. And yes, before I had so much more flaws, before I had so much more negative behaviors and bad beliefs about myself. But certainly it has gotten better. And I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm saying I'm far from perfect. I'm still on this journey of 1,000 miles. And all I am doing every day is to walk just one step forward to my end goal. And that is still a bit uncertain. But I know if we just keep on trying every single day, and if we control our mind to not let our emotions take hold of us majority of the times, then we will get better. Then one day, we will break free from self-anxiety. Then one day, we will stop procrastinating and do what we said we were going to do. Then maybe one day, we'll just start loving ourselves because we began to like ourselves. But that is the end goal. That is the result that so many of us seek in life. But the process itself first begins with understanding that you have control over your beautiful mind. And by doing so, it ain't going to be easy. By doing so, you will embarrass yourself. And by doing so, you will be in the state of worry constantly, thinking about the what if, thinking about what others may see me as or what others may think of me. But that is all unimportant. Not because that the opinions of others is not important, but we should not invest all of our energy on others and how they have their perception of us. We should focus on how we see ourselves to be and then act on who we think we are. And by doing so, everyone else will see you for who you see yourself instead of letting them define who you are. Create your own person, create your own identity. And this takes time, but don't worry because your time will come. That being said, this has been Thursday. I hope you guys had learned something from this, but if not, like always, I'll be here for you guys tomorrow. But until then, good night.